Let's recap Thursday Night Football next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. I mean, we're going to recap Thursday Night Football, but honestly, if you want to take like 30 seconds, Adam Azer, Ezekiel Elliott, awesome game for fantasy purposes. 72 receiving yards, 68 rushing yards, 22 carries, 7 receptions, 1 touchdown. It was kind of the best case scenario for what we were hoping for from Ezekiel Elliott, where I don't think another running back touched the ball. Ty Montgomery had 1 reception in this game, but yeah, it was all Ezekiel Elliott. Do you think that was just a short week, let's just get through it with Zeke and see what happens, or do you think he's going to have this kind of role moving forward if Ramondre Stevenson's out?
I think he's pretty much going to have this kind of role. I don't expect them to be winning most games, and I think so I don't see as many carries, but I do think you're going to get a lot of catches. Now remember, Demario Douglas wasn't playing. He'll take some of those catches. Devontae Parker wasn't playing. You can't project 7 catches every week, but I think you can project 4 to 5 catches on a weekly basis. I don't see why not. It's what was going on with Ramondre Stevenson. Dare I say Ezekiel Elliott is – no, he's not a must-start. He's close. In full PPR, he's close to a must-start. Despite the terrible yards per carry, I thought he actually looked pretty good. Made some guys miss. Made someone miss in the passing game on a play. The touchdown was nice. I don't expect him to look good on a weekly basis, but he's fresh, right? So, if I have Zeke, I'm pretty excited about it. This at least gives me a good flex option every week until Ramondre's back.
Is there anyone in this Steelers offense you want to start with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback?
Or Kenny Pickett at quarterback. It doesn't really matter.
There was the one game, I guess, where they scored. Yeah, and they had 16 points in that game, so it's not like the offense was actually that great. Steelers are bad. Let's move on. That's your Thursday Night Football recap. That is 2 minutes on the Steelers and Patriots, which is about as much as they deserve this season. Let's move on to a segment that I'm going to call, are these guys actually going to play this week? It's 3 players who are making seemingly, I don't know if miraculous is the right word. One of them seems more questionable than the other 2, but 3 guys who I did not expect to play this week who look like they're going to play this week. And we'll start off with Dallas Goedert, who did have surgery on that wrist. It was kind of hard to find confirmation that he had surgery, but I did find that. He said he feels stronger now that he has a plate in his wrist, which is, an interesting way to phrase it. What are your expectations for Dallas Goedert this week?
Can I just read a comment that we have? Because when people try to put emojis in the chat, sometimes it's just text. So this says face fuchsia poop shape. Face fuchsia poop shape.
Steelers Patriots.
Eyebrow. Yep. Face orange raised eyebrow. So that was good stuff there. You're going to ask me about these 3 players, and I don't really want to start any of them, but Goddard would be the one I'm most interested in starting. I am starting him in one league over, big-time options like Cade Otton and Tyler Conklin. I have all 3 of them. I dropped Conklin, I think, earlier today. But, Goddard, look, you should expect a lot of scoring in this game. He's not coming back from a knee injury or anything like that, so it wouldn't surprise me if he played a pretty normal snap share. He just wasn't really that great before the injury. I think he's the number 11 tight end per game, but he always has big upside. This game could have 70 points. It would be a little surprising, but 60 points wouldn't really surprise me. So, I think if you have Dallas Goedert, you don't need to go to the waiver wire. I would start him over Isaiah Likely. I would start him over Gerald Everett, in a good matchup. I think it's fine to start Goddard. I would have him toward the bottom of the top 12. All
right. The other 2 are Derek Carr and Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence, I don't think you're planning on starting either of these guys, even in 2 QB leagues. If they do play, it might be hard to get away from Trevor Lawrence in a 2 QB league if he plays, but he was limited on Thursday, dealing with a high ankle sprain. I think it's probably not a great thing that he's going to play. I think I'd rather see 100% CJ Beathard over a gimpy Trevor Lawrence. We saw him try to play through that knee injury earlier in the season, and he did play through it, but the results weren't great. I think it was 20 points and 6-point per passing touchdown leagues in the first game. That was with actually 59 rushing yards, which was really surprising. Yeah. He only had 2 touchdowns in the next 2 games. It took him a while to get to full strength. So what are your expectations for Trevor Lawrence and that Jaguars offense?
And let's not forget they're facing Cleveland, who's getting Denzel Ward back this week. And I don't know about the health of Myles Garrett. He's obviously going to play, but it's not a good matchup at the very least. So, look, I think you do want to avoid Lawrence, and everybody knows I have a lot of Lawrence. I'm going to try to sit him if I can. I I am going to start him over. No, I'm not. I'm going to start Baker Mayfield over him. If
I think that's reasonable.
I think Baker Mayfield's a little underrated this week in the rankings. I want to get away from him. The bigger question is, what does it mean for Calvin Ridley? And it's better, I think, but not that much better.
I think he's in the wide receiver 3, boomer bust. Like, he's a little higher than Gabe Davis because I think we've seen it a little more consistently from him. But it's that kind of player. That's how I'm viewing Calvin Ridley. And now let's talk about the Saints offense. Derek Carr has left 3 different games with shoulder issues this season. He has left 2 of his last 3 games with concussions. He has a rib injury as well. And he's been limited in practice each of the first 2 days this week. We saw him play through the shoulder injury earlier in the season. It was really bad. He couldn't do anything down the field. I think this tells us something about how the Saints feel about Jameis Winston, that they're so hesitant to put him in even when Derek Carr is so banged up. But my expectations for the Saints offense will be lowered if Derek Carr plays this week, even against the Panthers. That's what makes it so tough, though.
Yeah, I agree. Look, it's not going to change anything for Kamara. This is obviously a dream matchup.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to be starting Olave anyway.
Assuming he plays, he missed practice Thursday with an illness, but should be okay.
The thing that helps Carr or Winston is that Taysom Hill might not play.
Yeah.
So I agree. I'd rather see Jameis there this week than Derek Carr. But in reality, I don't think it's going to change many of my roster decisions regarding the Saints.
All right. That's going to do it for Thursday Night Football's FFT and 5. We'll see you tomorrow.